At this hour, the FDA Advisory Board is reviewing the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, and if approved, the first shots of that vaccine could come just hours from now. Meanwhile, an article in New York Magazine this week with the headline, "We had the vaccine the whole time." Dr. Peter Hotez is a professor and dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor, also co-director of Texas Children's Hospital Center for Vaccine Development. Dr. Hotez, always good to talk to you. Thanks for being here. What were we supposed to make of that headline when we saw it? How could there possibly have been a vaccine for this that already existed?
Well, what happened, Sandra, was in 2003, the first SARS emerged. So the other name for COVID-19 is SARS-2. The first SARS emerged out of southern China in 2003, spread to Toronto, and that set off a big U.S. government program under the Bush administration and through the NIH to support vaccines for coronaviruses. And we were the beneficiaries of that. We started making vaccines against the spike protein, as did other groups, and that was really important because it showed that the spike protein is the weak link in this virus, and that's how all the current COVID-19 vaccines operate. So, and the important point here is that when many people think that this was a rushed program, it was not. It's actually a program 17 years in the making, starting back in 2003.
Well, it's really good information to have, right? Dr. Hotez, in Massachusetts, the New York Magazine reports, the Moderna vaccine design took all of 1 weekend. It was completed before China had even acknowledged that the disease could be transmitted from human to human. By the time the first American death was announced a month later, the vaccine had already been manufactured and shipped to the National Institutes of Health for the beginning of its phase 1 clinical trial. Why weren't we told this then? Because otherwise we are all in part of the public worry about taking the vaccine is how fast this has gone compared to other vaccine approvals. So wouldn't this be good information to put out publicly that this was already in the works?
I think the situation there was because the RNA technology is a brand new technology. It's never resulted in a licensed vaccine before. People didn't want to overpromise or raise false expectations because we didn't know how well that was going to turn out into a vaccine. I think a lot of us were surprised that it's giving 95% protection. So the whole point of Operation Warp Speed was to create a portfolio to use some cutting-edge new technologies like the RNA vaccines, and the NIH supported our vaccine, which is a recombinant protein vaccine. That's the technology's been around 40 years, and now we're scaling up production of that in India. And the other piece to this is we don't know how durable the protection is going to be for that RNA vaccine. Is it going to last 3 months, 3 years, 30 years? So that's the wisdom of that Operation Warp Speed program. Create a portfolio so we can get as many shots on goal as we can.
Well, that public approval hearing is happening right now with those key experts weighing in on the Pfizer vaccine. We hope the green light comes soon. Dr. Hotez, thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
All right.